Viewer discretion is advised. The following is presented for educational and entertainment purposes. This is not a rumor. Not a headline built for clicks. This is real. Straight from the federal courtroom where Sean Diddy Combs stands at the center of a storm, this is sworn testimony, documented and reported by inner city press. And then came the moment no one expected. The courtroom doors opened. And Wendy Williams walked in. The same Wendy once dismissed as gossip's queen. But this time, she wasn't dishing dirt. She was delivering truth. With documents, names, receipts. She didn't take the stand for fame, but for justice. To pull back the velvet curtain on a world protected by power, silence, and billion-dollar secrets. And what she said shook the room. This isn't gossip anymore. It's evidence. Stay tuned. 4 years, Wendy Williams was both ridiculed and revered. A media powerhouse with a mic sharp enough to slice through celebrity lies. She spoke what others whispered. She asked what others avoided. But this time, it wasn't about ratings. It wasn't about viral moments or trending clips. This time, Wendy wasn't playing the game, she was exposing it. After years of silence, after being pushed to the sidelines, she stepped into a federal courtroom and unleashed everything. No gossip. No speculation. Just facts, backed by documents, names, and dates. What she delivered wasn't entertainment. It was a warning shot to an industry that thrives on silence and survival at any cost. Wendy Williams didn't just tell her truth. She challenged a system built to bury it. And in that moment, she didn't just reclaim her voice. She forced the world to listen. Wendy Williams spoke with a calm that demanded attention. But make no mistake, her words were weapons. She didn't come with opinions. She came armed with documents, emails, timelines, receipts that painted a pattern far too detailed to ignore. She laid it out for the jury. Legal threats that came swift and quiet. Blackballing so calculated it erased her from networks and red carpets overnight. Sponsorships pulled. Segments cut. Entire platforms turning their backs the moment she challenged power. Her crime? Daring to question the untouchable. Wendy spoke about Sean Diddy Combs' alleged control over Cassie Ventura not just as a partner, but as a possession. And then came the chilling allegation that froze the courtroom. Jay-Z's early relationship with a then underage Foxy Brown. This wasn't gossip whispered behind studio doors. This was testimony under oath. 4 years, Wendy had warned the world. And for years, the industry labeled her bitter, messy, unstable. But in this courtroom, with evidence in hand, she revealed the truth she'd paid dearly to protect. Because when Wendy Williams finally spoke without interruption, the silence in the room was deafening. Wendy Williams made one thing crystal clear. This wasn't gossip, it was deliberate erasure. She spoke of tapes that mysteriously vanished. Interviews recorded, then buried. Moments where she tried to shine a light, only to have the spotlight ripped away. Every time she spoke up, the pressure mounted. The walls closed in. Her platform shrank while her enemies grew louder. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a machine. A well-oiled system built to protect power, not truth. And behind that machine, names. Big ones. Untouchable, until now. Wendy didn't flinch as she named them. Not to stir drama, but to dismantle a legacy of silence. Because this wasn't about headlines. It was about how far the industry will go. To protect its own. And punish those who speak out. Then came the moment the courtroom shifted. A single term surfaced, freak-off parties. It echoed with weight, with history. Wendy Williams didn't flinch when she said it. These weren't just wild celebrity nights or tabloid-worthy gatherings. No. She described them as organized, ritualistic, and protected events. Hosted by Sean Diddy Combs. Not spontaneous. Not random. Planned. Secluded. Sanitized. And she wasn't the only one who tried to tell the truth. Others had come forward before. Superhead. Mark Curry. Each one carrying pieces of the same puzzle. But just like Wendy, they were silenced. buried beneath lawsuits, industry pressure, and media blackout. The message was clear. If you speak, you disappear. But Wendy's voice broke through that silence. Not because it was louder, but because this time, it couldn't be ignored. Wendy Williams didn't stop with Diddy. She pointed the finger higher. Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, icons, powerhouses, gatekeepers. She recalled how everything changed after she criticized the film Precious. Not with malice, but with honesty. And the price? Instant. Red carpets. Gone. Invites. Cancelled. Suddenly, the woman who once ruled daytime was nowhere to be seen. I was erased, she told the court. Not because I was wrong, but because I was early. She wasn't punished for lying. She was punished for getting too close to the truth, too soon. Wendy made it clear. It wasn't just what she said, it was who she said it about. And in an industry where silence is currency, her voice was too costly to let live. But in that courtroom, she reclaimed it. And this time, no one could turn the volume down. Her voice never wavered as she spoke plainly. My MIC was taken not because I lied, but because I told uncomfortable truths. Wendy Williams laid bare the betrayal she endured. A betrayal not just from the industry, but from those she once trusted. She told the court about a famous figure, someone who promised to protect her story, her truth. But then, in a cruel twist, that same person turned around and gave a platform to her abuser. While I was being blackballed, she said, he was being promoted. It was a bitter revelation, proof of how deep the system runs. A world where loyalty is a facade, and silence is enforced by reward. Yet Wendy refused to stay quiet. Because speaking the truth wasn't just her right. It was her fight. Then came the moment that turned heads in the courtroom. Wendy reached for a thick folder and opened it carefully, like revealing a secret no one wanted uncovered. Inside were layers of silence, non-disclosure agreements, internal memos, email chains. Documents meant to keep truth locked away. She picked up one from 2007 and read it aloud. A chilling warning: any disclosure of private events involving Sean Diddy Combs would lead to public retaliation. This wasn't just legal jargon. It was a weapon designed to intimidate, to silence. But the evidence didn't stop there. Wendy pulled out another email from 2015. A hotel coordination message detailing private floors reserved, no cameras allowed. The woman at the center, Cassie Ventura, still involved with Diddy at the time. This wasn't a party, Wendy declared, her voice steady and resolute. It was protected, cleaned, and covered. Behind the glitz and glamour was a meticulously crafted system. A fortress of secrecy built to hide what the public wasn't meant to see. And here, in this folder, lay the proof. The proof that the industry didn't just protect stars, it protected their darkest secrets. Wendy's testimony shattered the silence, revealing how carefully the truth was buried, and how far some would go to keep it hidden. Then came the moment that stunned everyone in the courtroom. An email accidentally forwarded to Wendy Williams. From a PR firm managing both Tyler Perry Studios and Bad Boy Records. The subject line alone said it all. Managing optics, Wendy, Puff, Tyler. No further explanation was needed. No secret code to decipher. It was a clear glimpse behind the scenes. A coordinated effort to control the narrative. To manage the public image of some of the biggest names in entertainment. Wendy held up that email as evidence of a machine working tirelessly to protect power and silence dissent. In that simple subject line was a message. Wendy, Puff, Tyler. All tangled in the same web of control and calculated image management. The courtroom fell silent, realizing this wasn't just about one person's story. It was about an entire system built to manipulate the truth. Wendy held up a photograph for everyone to see. A snapshot from a 2019 gala, glamour, lights, and power all on full display. There stood Sean Diddy Combs, Tyler Perry, and a top crisis PR executive. All smiles. All posing for the cameras like nothing was wrong. They smiled while others were silenced, Wendy said, her voice steady but filled with meaning. Behind those smiles was a stark truth. A culture that protected its own at any cost. Wendy revealed she was offered a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. A deal to stay quiet in exchange for a new syndicated TV opportunity. But she refused. "And I paid for it," she told the court without hesitation. Because speaking out came with a price. A price she was willing to pay for the truth. "This isn't just about Diddy," Wendy warned the courtroom. "It's about who let him do what he did." She described it like a towering fortress. Built not from bricks, but from non-disclosure agreements, threats, and billion-dollar handshakes. A system so vast and so protected. It shielded those at the top while silencing those who tried to speak. Wendy didn't shy away. She pointed directly at the giants behind the curtain. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. Not criminals by open act, but enablers through their silence. Their silence gave power to abuse. Their silence allowed darkness to thrive unchecked. Wendy's message was clear. This isn't just about one man's actions. It's about an entire industry that chose silence over justice. Wendy spoke not just of the past, but of what came after. The backlash. The labels. Bitter. Crazy. Washed up. Words thrown like stones to discredit her, to erase her. But through it all, she stood unwavering. Strong. Defiant. And then she said it, words that hung heavy in the room. "I'd rather be right in hell than silent in heaven." A powerful declaration. A refusal to back down, no matter the cost. For a moment, the courtroom was completely still. Silence stretched across the room, not from fear, but from respect. Because in that silence, everyone knew. Wendy Williams wasn't just telling her story. She was making history. Wendy turned slowly to face the gallery, her voice steady and final. "This is just the beginning. The walls are cracking. The tower's coming down." With those words hanging in the air, she walked out of that courtroom. Not silenced. Not defeated. But heard. Loud and clear.